Howdy, all you two partners out there. The engineer is here. That never gets old. I got a special video for y'all today. Now, y'all know, as an engineer, I solve practical problems. Now, I want to tell y'all how to be prepared for the most practical problem of all. That being, what do you do when your belly is gnawing at your backbone and you got a hankering for something delicious to settle it down? Well, for that, we fall upon a Texas staple. Bacon. Not just any bacon. This is home-cured bacon, not that cheap store-bought bacon. Now, let's get started. First, you're gonna want yourself a big, thick piece of pork belly. I got strips here, but you can use a big old slab if you want. I use strips for a reason that I'll tell you in a bit. Now, first, let's start with getting seasoning in it. Start off by covering it with some celery salt. Has to be celery salt, not regular salt. This helps preserve the bacon for a long time. Not that it lasts long anyway. Make sure you cover it thoroughly and rub it in nice and gentle. After that, we get onto some seasoned salt. Once again, make sure you cover it carefully, all sides. Make sure nothing's spared. Once you got that all rubbed in nice and gentle, we'll move on to some smoked paprika. Cover it thoroughly and rub it in gently. Now we add a little bit of kick. We're gonna be adding some cayenne pepper. Now, if you got a one big slab, you can do the whole thing at once. But we've got a bunch of little strips, so we have to do these one by one. Now, once you've got all your pieces seasoned, you put them in a nice, tough Ziploc bag, preferably a gallon-size freezer storage bag. We've got our dry seasonings on there. Now it's time for the wet seasoning. We're gonna be starting off with some maple syrup. Not just any maple syrup. I'm using some bourbon maple syrup to give it that extra little kick.
No, you're speaking my language, lad.
Good to see the demos appreciate you, Bubba. Make sure you just put enough so that it covers all the meat. Then we move on to our next wet ingredient. Applesauce. That's right, we're gonna put a nice, delicious, sweet apple flavor into this bacon. I'm using cinnamon applesauce, but you can use whatever kind you like. Covered thoroughly, you're gonna need a lot of applesauce. As you see, I've got 2 big bags full of bacon. Once you've got all wet ingredients in there, you just seal them up. You make sure to put them in another bag. Now comes the hard part. This is by far the hardest part of this entire recipe. We got to wait. That's right, we gotta wait a long time. You're gonna take these bags, put them in your fridge for 3 days. Yep, 3 days. So, make sure you turn them over every day. Just go in once a day and turn them over. After 3 days, then we're gonna get on to the smoking. All right, partners, it's been 3 days. So we've got our bacon here. Now, this is gonna seem a bit strange, but this is what you're gonna do first thing. You're gonna take these strips, or your big strip, out of your container, and you're gonna rinse it off. That's right, you're gonna have to rinse off all that marinade. Don't scrub it, just gently rub it and rinse it off. You're doing this because if you don't, all that marinade that's on the outside is gonna burn, and you're gonna get a black, crispy crust that really doesn't taste very good on the outside of your bacon. But if it's something you're into, you can go ahead and leave it on. Now, on to preparing the grill for its smoking. Woo-wee! Making bacon. First off, you're gonna want some charcoal. You're gonna wanna use a sweet charcoal or just a plain charcoal. If you use a plain charcoal, you're gonna need more wood for the good smoking. See, what I'm using here, I'm using applewood charcoal. I'm also using applewood chips. And you can see in here, I've got applewood pellets in these smoking sticks. Just gotta make sure you light them all up, get them burning. To make sure you put the bacon as far away from the fire as possible. We're not trying to cook it. We're just trying to smoke it. Once you got the fire going and you got a good smoke going, bacon's all set up, you just close it up. Now you're gonna leave that in there for about 2 to 3 hours. If you're using a big slab of bacon, then you're gonna have to take about 4 to 5 hours. Make sure you check it every half hour or 40 minutes or so to turn it around so it doesn't get too hot and cook on one side. And now, there we have it. Several pieces of delicious applewood smoked bacon. I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope y'all's mouth got watering just thinking about all this. So go out there, take this recipe, experiment as you like. One thing you might want to try experiment with then is the wood itself. You can use other kinds of sweet wood, such as cherry or peach, or if you want to get savory, you can try hickory or mesquite or oak, or if you're ready to feeling adventurous, you could even try walnut. That's a good one right there. And have yourself a nice, hearty, tasty-sized meal.